The Los Angeles Lakers have now won 2 in a row. And man,
Mm.
what a big win for them on Sunday against the Wolves. Anthony Davis, this line that Anthony Davis had was absolutely outrageous. First guy ever in NBA history. That's a lot of history. 25 points, 25 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 steals since they started tracking steals back in the 70s. My God, what a game for them.
Yeah, Ash, I don't know where you come down on this. This is probably recency bias, but I am all in on believing the Lakers can make. Look, I know that they're in the wrong part of the play-in. There's a tough road to go, and matchups are going to matter. But last night, just a reminder, if it's an if, right? It's an if in the playoffs. If Anthony Davis can take over games at any level, let alone that historical level, plus LeBron, I'm not sure they're winning 16 playoff games, but just like last year, I don't want to face him regardless of who I am in the Western Conference. If this Lakers team makes a best-of-7 series.
I mean, yeah, we spoke about this a little bit on your radio show, and we've spoken about this in our group chat. I feel like there are just players that are difference makers, and I don't know if necessarily you would put Anthony Davis in that conversation, but the team he's on has a difference maker, and that goes by the name of LeBron James. So I do think that if anybody can do it, I have faith in teams like the Lakers. I have faith in teams like the Golden State Warriors. Even to a degree, I have faith in the Phoenix Suns to surprise some people because they have 2 difference makers, and that's Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. The only thing with Anthony Davis is always the biggest question mark is you never know which version of AD you're going to get. And I think that for me, I don't know if I can rely solely on LeBron at 39 years old to do it every single night. So if I can get a Anthony Davis like the night before or the night before last consistently in a play-in situation, in a playoff situation, the Lakers absolutely could upset a lot of people. I just don't know if I'm going to get that.
I think we need to have a little bit more respect for Anthony Davis. Previously, in previous years, that I think that narrative was legit. That people were saying, like that he wasn't consistent enough. Who was it? Charles Barkley always calls him street clothes because he's always in street clothes. This season, though, he's been available. He's been healthy. He's been so good. I think like that previous narrative, a little unfair to him this season.
I don't know that it's unfair. It's interesting. I don't know that it's unfair. It certainly may no longer be true. I think it's one of you gotta show it. You gotta prove it. You gotta stay healthy.
Yeah,
and I know last year they made a run, but there were games. It depends how you mark it, because there were games last year in the playoffs where AD vanished in some of those playoff games, but not so many that they failed. I mean, they made a conference finals. I know they got dominated by Denver, but last year was an absolute success. He was part of the equation. So kind of in between here, I was one of those guys that laughed at the street clothes comment. I thought it was hilarious.
It's pretty great.
And true.
That's because you're a bully, Bill. You're a bully.
I'm not a bully.
You are a bully.
Is Chuck a bully? Are you calling Charles Barkley a bully?
Yes, I am.
Right.
Let me run this past you guys as we look at the Lakers prospects here. So they have won 2 in a row, but they're still stuck in that 9 spot, right? And they've been there pretty consistently all season, that 9-10 spot. However, this I found really interesting. They're 6 games above 500 for the first time this season. So they're starting to cook a little bit, right? They also have, this blew my mind, they have 12 straight games in the state of California. They don't have to leave California until March 26th. Pretty nice, right? And their remaining strength of schedule, right in that middle of the pack, only 17th. So things are starting to line up a little bit for the Lakers.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie now in the mix, right? After the buyout situation that I loathe and hate, but still he's a part of the situation. And my thing is, if I'm the Lakers, and I get out of the play-in and I play, this is just me, and I play anybody that's not the Denver Nuggets, and I'm healthy. Anthony Davis is healthy. LeBron's healthy. I feel really good about my chances for the reasons John said. They're playing really well. They look good. Obviously, Anthony Davis had a historical game. I think they're a little bit deeper than I thought they were going to be. I also, I guess because I'm a bully, Ash, I've been a big doubter of D'Lo at times, but whatever. Like over this run of late, he's had some really big games.
The other night where he went for 44 in the win over the Bucks without LeBron, that was his career high. He was incredible. D'Angelo Russell was in that game.
When we're talking about like upset some folks, like in what regard are we saying that? Are we saying that the Lakers are going to go ahead and make it to the finals? Are we talking Western Conference finals? Are we just saying that if they come into a series with the right team, that they can upset that team that we had advancing? Because I think it's fair to say that, yes, I think the Lakers may be surprising a lot of people, us included, with how well they're playing at this point of the season. And I do think that trajectory, if they continue it, is only beneficial going into the playoffs to play in. But realistically, what's the cap? Because there is a cap. There's a cap.
I'm glad you brought that up, because let's just say, for the sake of argument, that they do get out of the play-in and then they're in the playoffs proper. Should they play the team that they played on Sunday night, the Minnesota Timberwolves, all of a sudden? Now, I know it's a small sample size, just one game, but for people who are unaware of this, in other CBS capacities, Bill and I made a bet, and the bet was basically this. I'm taking the Wolves against the Suns, the Warriors, or the Lakers, should they play them in the first round. And the bet is, we all go to dinner, the three of us plus our producer, Aaron, and the loser pays for dinner up to $1,000. I made this bet before Karl Anthony Towns was injured. We made the bet. Karl Anthony Towns got injured. And now all of a sudden, especially after last night, I do not feel good about it. So now, Ashley, if it's the Wolves and the Lakers, I mean, the Lakers match up really well with the Wolves, especially without Cat.
Can I just say that I personally don't care about the outcome of this bet, because I win either way.
You do
so
win.
I feel like
you just need the matchup to happen.
It sounds like a you problem or a y'all problem, not a me problem, because I'm a winner and winners win, and I'm going to win regardless. But I mean, yeah, I know that they're saying that Cat is trying to get a second opinion and seeing if there is a possibility for him to return, hopefully for the playoffs. I know that's been thrown out there. I don't know how realistic that will be. Bill, you would know better than me with all your, fingers on the pulses throughout the league. But I do think that the Lakers advancing relies solely on who their first matchup is, because I think that they're not good enough to beat anybody in the West, but they are good enough to beat or give a really strong, run for their money to certain teams in the West. And I think it's, what do they say? Styles make fights. So we're going to see.
Styles do make fights.
I obviously like their chances against the Timberwolves because I made that bet with you, John. I'm not sure that's
speaking into existence, Bill. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, look,
manifestation.
That bet was a lock before Cat went down. Now I'm rooting on the Timberwolves.
It was not. The Wolves you guys have been very dismissive of the Wolves this season. They've been at the top of the Western Conference basically all season long. I think eventually you have to believe your lying eyes. Defensively, they've been incredible. Now you take Cat out of it. We saw some of it last night on Sunday, right? Scoring has been an issue for them. Now, Anthony Edwards, the other Ant, right? Anthony Edwards has been unbelievable in the small sample size theater after Cat has gone down, right? But he can only do so much. He's only one guy. Where are they getting the other help from? Naz Reid has been really good, but I just don't know that you're getting out potentially of the first round if you're going, all right, it's we're going to need Cat. Oh, Cat's not there. We're going to need Ant and Naz Reid, and that's going to be our scoring. I wonder if the Wolves are now doomed, as you guys have been forecasting all season.
I mean, if Cat was almost a 50-40-90 guy this season. I mean, it's incredible how efficient. He's a great player. And you said it. They are not great offensively. They need buckets from him. To circle back to your other question, I think the Lakers can make a conference finals. I do. I think it has to be the right matchups, and they have to get out of the play-in. I know. Look, I'm taking them over the Timberwolves. I'm not making the bet with you, but I would take them. I would not be surprised if they beat the Thunder in a series. The Clippers are such a better team, but I think there's a psychological advantage here in LA that LA just doesn't take that organization seriously. They're losing to Denver for sure. They're getting done. But there's a path for LA because of LeBron, because of Anthony Davis. And I think there's a similar path for the Warriors, but I think there is a path for the Lakers if things break the right way in terms of matchups where they did it last year. It's not like we have to imagine this.
I know, but the Heat also made it to the finals as an 8th seed. So it happens, but it's not the norm. You know what I mean? It's the exception. It's the exception, not the rule. This is what I'm saying.
You don't think the Heat can make a run this year? I think the Heat can make a run too.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, the Eastern, we're
sticking
with the Western
They just lost to the Wizards. You think that's the team that can make the run? The Heat are not nearly as good as they were this time last year. And they're not as good on paper as they were this time last year.
Yeah, maybe I am hypnotized by Anthony Davis's insane performance last night against a pretty good basketball team, even if they're missing a guy. But I think the Lakers are good. Look, I also think the Warriors are good enough to make a run. And the Suns, I think, have a really high ceiling and a low floor. So I know not all of them can do it. But yes, You do not, unless you're the Nuggets, you do not want to play the Lakers. You do not want to play the Lakers in a best of 7 series.